A young boy in a dusty attic, sitting on a wooden floor with an old pocket watch in his hands, rain frozen in mid-air outside a small window, warm golden light from a single bulb, cozy but cluttered space with old trunks and cobwebs. Leo's house was always loud, but not in a fun way. Mom rushed to work, Dad stared at his phone, and his big sister Mia was too busy with homework to play. One rainy afternoon, Leo was digging through a dusty box in the attic when his fingers brushed against something cool and metal. He pulled out an old pocket watch with a cracked face and twisted hands. As he wiped away the grime, the second hand began to tick backward. Suddenly, the rain outside froze mid-air, like tiny glass beads. Leo gasped. He had just discovered something magical. A young boy in an attic, holding a glowing pocket watch, staring out a window at frozen raindrops suspended in mid-air, warm golden light swirling around him, vintage attic with dusty boxes and wooden beams. Leo blinked, staring at the frozen raindrops hanging outside the attic windows. The world was completely silent. No ticking clock, no humming fridge, no distant traffic. He held the pocket watch tighter, and the hands moved faster, spinning counterclockwise. A warm, golden glow spilled from the watch, swirling around him like a gentle tornado. Then, with a soft pop, Leo found himself standing in his own living room. But everything looked different. The couch was covered in plastic, the walls were bare, and his dad, younger, with no gray hair, was laughing at something on a tiny TV. Leo looked down and saw his own hands were smaller. He had traveled back in time. A child in pajamas stands in a 1990s living room with plastic-covered furniture, bare walls, and a small, boxy TV. A young man laughs on a beige carpet. A calendar on the wall says October 1998. The child holds a glowing pocket watch, looking surprised and nervous. Leo tiptoed closer, his socked feet silent on the beige carpet. The plastic couch crackled when he accidentally brushed it. His dad, who looked barely older than Leo's big brother, slapped his knee at the TV. "Can you believe that joke?" he said to nobody. Leo wanted to call out, but his voice felt stuck. He noticed a calendar on the wall. October 1998. That was 25 years ago. A sudden shuffle came from the kitchen. Footsteps, heavier than his dad's. Leo's heart pounded. He wasn't supposed to be here. The pocket watch in his hand glowed faintly, as if counting down. A puzzled young boy in pajamas stands in a 1990s living room. In the background, a young man with short brown hair sits on a plastic-covered couch, laughing at a bulky TV. In the foreground, a taller man with the same nose stands by a kitchen doorway, holding a ceramic mug, looking at the boy with concern. The boy grips a glowing pocket watch. Beige carpet, wood-paneled walls, and a calendar reading, October 1998, on the wall. Leo spun around. A tall man with a surprised face stood in the kitchen doorway, holding a coffee mug. "Hey there, sport," the man said, his voice kind but confused. "You lost or something?" Leo's mouth went dry. The man looked familiar. The same nose as his grandpa's old photos, but younger. The watch pulsed with a warm light. Leo glanced from the man to his dad, still laughing at the TV. Two dads? His brain felt like a tangled yo-yo. The man took a step closer. "Everything okay?" he asked. Leo clutched the watch and shook his head. No words coming out. Cozy 1980s kitchen, with checkered floor tiles, and a yellow rotary phone on the wall. A kind, young-looking grandfather in a plaid shirt kneels beside a frightened boy in a green jacket. The boy clutches a glowing wristwatch. In the background, a teenager sits in front of a bulky TV, laughing. Warm afternoon light streams through a window. The man set down his coffee mug and knelt in front of Leo, his eyes soft with concern. "Hey, it's okay. You're safe here. What's your name?" Leo finally found his voice, small and shaky. "Leo." The man smiled. "Well, Leo, I'm your grandpa. Well, your grandpa when I was a lot younger. I think that watch of yours did something strange, huh?" Leo nodded, still gripping the watch tight. Grandpa glanced at the TV, where Leo's dad, his young dad, was still laughing. "That's my boy," Grandpa whispered, almost to himself. Then he turned back to Leo. "We've got a lot to figure out, but first, how about a cookie? I just baked some. A cozy, slightly cluttered kitchen with a wooden table, a plate of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies, and an older man smiling warmly at a young boy holding a cookie. Flour dusts the counter, and a window shows a sunny backyard with a tree. The boy looks curious and comforted. Leo's eyes widened. You bake cookies? Grandpa chuckled, leading him into a warm kitchen with flour dust on the counter and the smell of chocolate filling the air. Every Friday. Your dad used to help me, back when he was your age. Leo's chest tightened as he watched Grandpa pull out a tray of perfectly round, golden cookies. They looked just like the ones his dad made for him last week, before everything got weird. Grandpa set the plate on the table and slid into a chair. Eat up. Then we'll talk time travel and grand adventures. Leo picked a cookie, still warm, and took a bite. It tasted like home. A cozy kitchen scene with an elderly man and a young boy sitting at a wooden table, a plate of golden cookies between them. The boy looks thoughtful, holding a half-eaten cookie, while the grandfather leans forward with a warm, wise expression. Soft sunlight filters through a window, dusting the flour-covered counter and a cookie sheet in the background. Leo chewed slowly, the sugary warmth spreading through him like a hug he didn't know he needed. He glanced at Grandpa, who was watching him with a soft, knowing smile. So, Leo said, swallowing, you really know how to fix it? The time travel thing? Grandpa leaned forward, his eyes twinkling. I don't just know how to fix it, Leo. I built it, or at least, I helped a friend build the first one, a long time ago. But first, tell me, what happened right before things went wonky? Leo set the cookie down, frowning. I was trying to find Dad. He was gone, and I just wished I could go back to when he was here, you know? To fix everything. Grandpa nodded slowly. Ah, wishes are powerful, especially when they're made with a full heart. But time travel isn't about changing the past. It's about understanding it, and sometimes, understanding takes a little help from your friends. Or your grandpa. A close-up of a boy's wrist with an old-fashioned pocket watch on a leather band, glowing faintly with a golden light, while an elderly man's hand gently points at it from the side, both sitting at a cozy kitchen table with cookies and a warm lamp. Leo blinked. So the machine had heard my wish? Grandpa chuckled, picking up a cookie of his own. Not exactly. You heard your own wish, but the universe has a way of listening when you shout loud enough. Your dad's watch? It's not just a watch, it's a compass for time. It points to moments that matter. When you wished so hard you nudged it, and it dragged you back to the last big moment you needed to see. Not to change it, but to remember it right. Leo looked down at the watch on his wrist, suddenly heavy with meaning. So, I wasn't supposed to stop anything? No, Grandpa said softly. You were supposed to see what you missed the first time. Like the way your dad looked at you before he left, or the reason he handed you that watch in the first place. A young boy sitting at a kitchen table, looking down at an antique pocket watch in his hands, the watch glowing faintly with golden light. An elderly man with a gentle smile sits across from him, holding a cookie. Warm, cozy kitchen with soft afternoon sunlight streaming through a window. Leo traced the watch's face with his thumb. The second hand ticked backwards once, then forward again. But why did it bring me to the airport? To the last time I saw him? Grandpa leaned forward, his voice quiet and sure. Because some moments don't fade. They wait for us to truly see them. That day, your dad wasn't just leaving. He was trusting you with something bigger than a watch. He was trusting you with time itself. A close-up of a boy's hands holding an old pocket watch, the face glowing softly, with a faint, ghostly image of a father kneeling and speaking to him in the background, warm golden light. Leo looked down at the watch again. The hour hand trembled, pointing at a memory he'd almost forgotten, his father kneeling, face to face, saying, Take care of this for me, buddy. It'll remind you that, even when I'm far, we're still sharing the same minutes. Leo's eyes widened. He gave me his time. Not just a watch, he whispered. Grandpa smiled. And now you know. Time isn't something you lose. It's something you hold, like a promise. A young boy holding a pocket watch up to his ear, eyes closed in wonder, surrounded by a soft, golden glow that seems to emanate from the watch. An elderly man with a kind face watches him from a nearby chair, his hands resting on his knees. The room is cozy, with warm wooden floors, and a window showing a gentle sunset. Leo looked from the watch to Grandpa, then back again. The second hand swept smoothly, as if it had never stopped. He thought of all the minutes that had passed since his father left. Some happy, some hard. They were all still there, tucked inside the ticking. So the watch doesn't just tell time, Leo said slowly. It keeps it. Grandpa nodded, his eyes gleaming. And the best part is, you get to decide what to do with every minute that's still coming. A warm sunset scene on a wooden front porch, an elderly man and a young boy sitting in rocking chairs, the boy holding a glass of lemonade, the old man smiling, a golden light glowing around them, the boy's pocket faintly glowing with a soft magical light, illustration in a calm storybook style with soft watercolor textures. Leo slipped the watch into his pocket, feeling its gentle weight. With it, he knew he could revisit any memory, any moment. That afternoon, he and Grandpa sat on the front porch, watching the sunset. The colors were the same as the day his father left, golden and pink. But tonight, they felt different, like a promise. I think I'll start with the minutes I have now, Leo said, handing Grandpa a lemonade. Grandpa smiled, and they clinked glasses as the clock ticked softly in Leo's pocket. A boy stands by an open window in a dimly lit bedroom at night, moonlight shining on a garden below. He holds a pocket watch in his hand, looking thoughtfully outside, with a soft, hopeful expression. That night, Leo stood at his open window, the watch warm in his hand. Moonlight spilled over the garden where he and his father used to dig for worms. He could wind the watch and go back, see his father's laugh, smell the damp soil, but instead he wound it forward, just a little, to tomorrow morning. He wanted to see what new memories he could make first. A cozy kitchen scene with morning sunlight, a mother at the stove flipping pancakes, and a young boy smiling beside her, a watch visible in his pocket. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the window as Leo woke with a smile. He tucked the watch into his pocket and ran downstairs, where the smell of pancakes filled the kitchen. His mother stood at the stove, flipping a golden one onto a plate. Ready for our hike? She asked. Leo nodded, feeling the watch warm against his leg. A reminder that every day could be an adventure, if he chose to look forward. A sun-dappled forest path with tall pine trees, a young boy kneeling by a small red mushroom on the forest floor, his mother standing nearby with a gentle smile, warm golden light filtering through the branches, whimsical and serene illustration style, watercolor texture, children's book aesthetic, page 15. The trail wound through a forest of towering pines, their needles whispering secrets to the breeze. Leo's mom pointed out a squirrel scampering up a trunk, but Leo's eyes were on the watch. The second hand ticked slowly, steadily, as if counting each heartbeat of the woods. He paused, kneeling to examine a tiny, red-capped mushroom. Look, he said softly, it's like a fairy umbrella. His mom smiled. You see magic everywhere today, don't you? Leo grinned, the watch warm against his leg, and knew that the real treasure wasn't at the end of the trail. It was in each step along the way. A sunny, grassy clearing in the woods, with a large old oak tree, a picnic blanket spread beneath it. A young boy sits cross-legged on the blanket, eating an apple, holding a small, heart-shaped stone in one hand. Sunlight filters through leaves, creating dappled gold light. Soft, warm, peaceful illustration style. The path ended at a wide, grassy clearing where the sun painted everything in gold. Leo's mom spread out a blanket under a gnarled oak tree. Lunchtime, she said, unpacking sandwiches and apples. Leo sat cross-legged, the watch now cool against his skin. He could hear the tick, tick, tick blending with the rustle of leaves and the distant caw of a crow. As he bit into his apple, he noticed a small, smooth stone at his feet. It was shaped like a heart. He picked it up, felt its weight, and tucked it into his pocket. This, he whispered to himself, is my treasure. He knew the watch's secret was that every moment carried a gift, if you only stopped to find it. A boy lying on a blanket under an old oak tree in a sunlit, grassy clearing, a butterfly resting on his knee, clouds drifting in a blue sky, a small heart-shaped stone on the ground nearby. After lunch, Leo lay on his back, watching clouds drift like slow, white ships. The watch's ticking had softened, almost like a heartbeat. A butterfly landed on his knee, its wings orange and black. "Even you have a story," he murmured. He closed his eyes, feeling the sun on his lids, and a warm, quiet happiness filled him. He didn't need an adventure far away. He was already in one. Right here, right now. A young boy walking away from a meadow towards a small house in the distance, smiling, with a butterfly following him. Warm afternoon sunlight, soft clouds overhead. When Leo opened his eyes again, the watch felt still. He smiled, knowing he had found the real magic. Not in chasing minutes, but in living them. He tucked the watch into his pocket, waved goodbye to the butterfly, and walked home, his heart ticking softly with each step. The end.